an award-winning African-American cartoonist. Yes, please. We're talking to Robb Armstrong next.
You are tuned in to Black Hollywood Lives. Breaking Into.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of Breaking Into here on Black Hollywood Live. I'm your host, James Lott Jr. And of course, you can follow me on all the interwebs at James Lott Jr. That simple. My guest today is somebody I've admired for 100 years. I'm so glad. And I was just telling before the show was coming on, this is like a full circle moment for me. I get to actually talk to him and ask him questions about his comic strip, Jumpstart, which is, widely syndicated, been around for a long time, award-winning. It's just so great. And he has a book about his whole life experience called Fearless. And it's called Fearless, the cartoonist guide to life, ladies and gentlemen. Robb Armstrong.
Hey, man.
How are you?
I'm great, man. It's nice to be. This is nice, man.
This is nice. We gave you some little shimmer back here.
Yeah.
And the coloring's good for us.
It's perfect for us.
It works for our skin tones. I always like that. I look at everything to make sure everything looks good for my guests.
Nice. Beautiful studio, man. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, that's very nice. Thank you.
Thanks, James.
So thanks for coming on. Coming out today.
Great to be here, man.
So you have a book. So we're gonna start with the book first and then work backwards.
Okay.
So what was the impetus to writing the book?
It's a long journey to write a book.
Yeah.
I had done a lot of speaking ever since my career began about 27 years ago. I've done a lot of public speaking. It's a perfect fit in a way for a cartoonist to go out, meet kids, go to schools. And one thing that I had heard over and over again, in fact, the one thread running through my whole career is you should write a book, because my speaking is so, it's not just motivational and all that, but it's very effective. And it gets kids believing. It gets audiences to feel something, to feel that the struggle is worth it, that it can pay off. So I had these incredible stories, man, about being a speaker and seeing really amazing things. I once had a girl avert a suicide. I mean, she confessed to me after I was finished. I was going to commit suicide and all that. And like, you did something. And I began to believe, I should write a book. I should write a book, because the problem is, no matter how successful I was as just a speaker, I'm only reaching 150 people in this room.
Right.
A big room has like 500 people in it. Right. But it's very minimal in the grand scheme of life. And a book is, as you know, it's the opposite. It's a chance to really go large with it. And so, about 3 years ago, I made that pitch, a similar pitch to Reader's Digest, and they, thank God, they went for it.
Yeah.
And the book really has this purpose behind it. I've lived, I believe, a purposeful life of struggle, and not just lots of people.
I like that.
Well, lots of people have a struggle. You know what I mean? You grow up. I'm from Philadelphia, man, and I meet somebody from New York, and they're like, "You think you had it rough?" I'm from the South Bronx. My college roommate was like that. I'm from the South Bronx of New York, brother. I'm like, I get it, man. I get it.
There's always I call it the Pain Olympics. We're like, I grew up in South LA, so like, what are you talking about?
I love the Pain Olympics.
It's like the bronze, the gold, but it's all struggle.
Right. And I tried not to engage in it, but it just happens. It's like, wait a second, what do you mean my struggle is not as terrible as your struggle? Right. But the thing about that is very funny, because the thing about that is, those stories are so common, James, that can't be the whole thing. It's not just about being in a dark place and somehow finding your way out. Anybody who's in that dark place doesn't want to really hear you say, I came from a dark place, I got out of it. That's not it. The thing they want to experience is when you go back with a flashlight, that they can do something with that. They can't do anything with this. I don't know how you were still in the dark. What? Hey, I come back. I'm hoping this book shines a light, man.
Well, I'll tell you something. You fit right. My motto of my show, of course, is share knowledge with each other and pay it forward. And I believe that in a relatable way. And what you just said is that's what it is. Because you can say, well, I made it and you can too. I mean,
how?
That means nothing to people. I mean, sometimes it does. Sometimes when people, they see a African-American cartoonist, seeing you right now, it could be enough for some people.
Sure.
Saying, wow, oh my God, I can do this? Just seeing you.
Right.
But for most of us, we need more than just that.
Yeah.
And so your book will possibly do that.
It's very instructional. One of my buddies, I have a real good friend who endorsed my book on the back cover, Tommy Davidson.
Yes, you have a lot of friends on here endorsing Quincy Jones, Anson Williams. You got
good
some
dudes,
folks in here.
Real.
Your buddy, yes, Tommy Davidson, yes.
So Tommy, I know Tommy the longest of all those guys.
Okay.
And Tommy said, this is must read. This is required reading, man. If somebody's going through it, it's a great. I wish that was on the back cover of the book, actually.
Yeah.
But what he decided to put on the back is good too. But he said this is required. He said this is, if you are an artist.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah.
Every school teaching art, this should be required reading. I love hearing that because I endeavored to write a book that had that kind of specific, identifiable purpose that you could go back to it, not just read it one time, but go back and say, you know what, I'm going to read chapter 14 again.
Right.
Something was in there.
It could be a reference book.
Like a reference book. And it's got the art instruction. It's got the life instruction.
Folks, this book is so well put together. Look at this. Even the pages feel nice. I'm just telling you.
Good?
I feel I'm on QVC right now. The pages are nice and they turn
High
easily.
quality.
You did high quality, folks.
Each page is like a business card quality. It's very
It
nice.
does. I'm not doing. I like it's all glossy and everything. I'm all for that. But I mean, but in all seriousness, we were joking around a little bit. But on seriousness, it's like this could be a good reference book for people. Like you said, just an artist in general.
Yeah, if you're an artist, there's a faith component to it. If you believe, and everybody who's faith-driven has moments of doubt and uncertainty. This is affirmation in that way. Like, we're not supposed to have an easy life. And I don't think an easy life is desirable, to be honest with you. I hate to say that because we admire this person, wish we had a life like that person, but an easy life is a curse. I mean, you want to have struggle because you can have victory. And once you have victory, you start to believe that nothing can stop you. It's a very powerful elixir to just to go through, you know. And frankly, to have a life that that is not filled with regret. Like, I don't regret. Listen, I was born in West Philly, man. Let me tell you, 1962. Okay, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, I have no regrets anything either. I learned to get rid of those. I had to learn first. I had to learn how to forgive myself. That was number one.
Right.
Once I just forgave myself for whatever went on, it's like, it was life. Now I got great stories to tell.
Yeah, and forgive someone else. My dad stepped out right away.
Yeah.
He saw me being born. He was like, deuces, man. I saw him again when I was in my late 40s.
Wow.
He saw me born and was like, I'm out. I saw him again in my late 40s. He's like, you probably hate me, man. And I'd already succeeded by then.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't hate you, man. He said, well, I want to be your dad. I want to, do dad son things. I was like, okay, that's cool.
Okay.
We go see a ball game, and then we scheduled to see it's so weird. We made an appointment.
Okay.
I said, you go down to the will call and you buy 2 tickets, and then we meet down there and we go see the game. He said, okay. And I went, and he couldn't make it. I was down there. I went and got my son. Me and my son went and saw the game. You know what I mean? We had one appointment in 48 years at that point. Awful. But you have to forgive everybody. You experience this kind of thing. The neglect of a parent is hardcore.
I've had to. Yeah,
that's serious. You know what I mean? But you have to understand that even that can make you a much stronger, more effective person. Because now you have empathy. Now you meet someone, you feel for them. You understand their plight. And like I said, Philly was just filled with those things. My oldest brother was killed when I was only 6.
Oh my God! Wow.
My oldest brother was. I lived right near 56. Anyone from Philadelphia is going to know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I lived at 56 and Walnut, which is 3 blocks from 56 and Market. On 56 and Market in Philadelphia, the subway ran.
Oh, okay.
It was so loud, you could hear the subway every single day, all day. Just rumble. And my brother was killed there. My brother was caught in the doors of a moving subway train when he was 13. And it was torn in 2 pieces.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
It was crazy, and it left a mark on my family that remains.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It left a mark on me that remains. But when I say that an easy life is not a desirable life, his death, I would not have this book. Definitely, I wouldn't have this book without that experience. Yeah. I would certainly not have a syndicated comic strip without the death of my brother. When I do my speaking, also a lot of it's about him, because his passing so young altered the way I view life and death so young that my life took on an urgency when I was just a child. That urgency led to an early discovery of my purpose, and that's kind of what we're all here to discover. And I love talking to you about what you're doing with your motivational thing and your life coaching. If you know your purpose, nothing scares you. the not knowing of one's purpose is the scariest thing about life. That's
completely.
That's
agree.
what this book is about. That's why it's called Fearless. It's overcoming the uncertainty of not knowing what you're even doing here. Like, why were you even born? You know.
I know folks that seriously are in that space where they don't even know what they're supposed to be doing, and you watch them just aimlessly around.
Which is risky.
It is.
That's risky to live that way.
I know, and I remember when I didn't have my. I mean, I did things like I thought I was supposed to do. You have a family, you get a job, and you work till you're 65, you retire. That's what I thought I was supposed to do.
Right.
And I wasn't happy. I mean, through my life, I wasn't happy. I was doing these jobs I didn't care for.
And you're looking at people who are literally dying.
Yes.
And they're doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
They're approaching death, like literally. Like I'm just going here again to what's today? Monday. Yeah.
Well, for me, my stomach started to hurt. My last job that I finally decided to quit, my stomach hurt every day. And when I gave notice, it stopped hurting.
What?
Talk about trust your gut.
Wow.
Like literally, I had to trust my gut. Once I gave notice and said I'm done, my stomach stopped hurting the next day.
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing, but also as you think about it, it's really like real. I mean, it's completely like, of course, because now I'm not worried anymore.
Right.
Now I'm not upset about going to this job I have to go to that I hate.
Oh yeah.
Like now I'm done.
But that's such a common plight. We're talking about millions of people who are forced into a life with like this sort of, I hate what I do, but I don't know. I think I'm supposed to be doing this.
Right.
You will know, anyone who's got that career, that purpose, doesn't even have to be a career. I hate to call career a purpose.
Okay.
Sometimes a person's purpose isn't financial.
Right. Yeah. No. Right.
It's not a financial
Right.
thing.
No, I know people like that.
You know, they're doing something. Their contribution to the world isn't a money-making thing.
That's true.
Some of the most successful people in the world weren't rich.
No, they weren't. They
I
sure were.
I don't know if Dr. Martin Luther King was rich. I don't think he was.
Don't think he was either.
This guy got a holiday and everything. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes it's just about doing the thing that's risky and meaningful, and then watching lives change and saying, "I'll do that again tomorrow."
And when it clicks,
Right.
like for me, when I became when I quit everything in 2008, when we had a huge recession going on, people thought I was crazy.
Right.
I took my savings and was just like, I'm gonna just see what's out there. It took like a year off, kind of figuring that out, and when it clicked, it was just like most glorious. It was like a romantic feeling.
Wow.
Like, I want to be an organizer. I got it.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And then a couple years later, I'm gonna be a life coach. Oh my god! Like it was like this romantic. I was meeting somebody and falling in love.
Nice.
That's how it felt for me. And I was like, I got it. And I tell people, you can have it too. Like this is a great thing. I'm like, I don't have the key or anything. It's like you can have it also.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
just gotta be open to it, right? To let it in.
Yeah, you have to be. It's funny because just as African Americans, we come up against that wall a lot.
Yes.
And it never ends. It's not like you make it and now it ends.
Nope.
I mean, I was pulled over in 2013 by the cops for nothing.
I had a SWAT team with rifles on me last year at a 7-Eleven.
See, I mean, it's about how you react to it. I mean, now that you know, now that they've clearly got the wrong guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same here.
The cop pulled me over. I'm like, man, first of all, I can tell you right now, you look just like the suspect who robbed somebody. I said, okay, it hasn't come to that yet. Thankfully,
yes,
I'm successful.
Yeah,
but listen, today ain't over yet.
No, it's not. You
know what I mean? But I'm not exactly robbing people. And here's who I am. Here's what I do. I said it's an understandable mistake. And the police officer apologized to me at the end of the altercation. It doesn't have to always go so smoothly.
No.
And some of it's just knowing how to respond to bad things. I don't want to oversimplify life.
No, of course not. I'm not wrestling that at all.
But if you respond inappropriately to bad things, you can do yourself a lot of unnecessary harm. That's what I believe.
That's true. I agree. And again, we're not simplifying stuff to like it's just just be a good person and be like, no, things can go wrong for any reason.
Wrong. Yeah.
And in my case, they didn't apologize to me, and I was really pissed. But I didn't go off on them. I'm smart enough. I didn't go off because I was the only person of color in the whole place. So I didn't. Yeah, they thought the silent alarm went off, and and there were white folks in the store with me, and they only did it to me.
You said a SWAT team came? Mm-hmm. They don't call it a SWAT team unless you're heavily armed.
I was in West Hollywood at a 7-Eleven on Crescent Heights and Santa Monica Boulevard, and I was just getting. I was thinking I was getting a Slurpee. I don't even know. I can't remember what I was getting at this point because I've blocked it out at this point. And seriously, I saw them kind of coming around because sometimes I use big windows. I kind of saw them coming. I'm like, I mean, there was a homeless guy outside. Maybe going for the homeless guy and what was going on.
It was you.
And it was me. They busted the door. I'll never forget the rest of my life. Turn around with your hand. I mean, I was just like,
you just dropped the Slurpee and it
yeah,
kind of just...
I don't know what I dropped. I don't know what was going on. I was traumatized for it. But again, I had to like forgive that situation,
right?
Because I didn't get any like, I'm sorry, sir, we did that. She just like,
right.
Well, we thought you did it, and I'm like, they had no shame whatsoever.
My brother, and I write about this extensively in detail in the book. My brother, I have two brothers. One was killed, as I said, when he was 13. My surviving brother is 5 years older than I am. When he was 17, I was 12. And this happened to him in Philadelphia. In those days, when I was 12, it was still the 70s.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And it was a brutal time in Philadelphia.
Ooh. In
the 70s. We had a really controversial mayor named Frank Rizzo, and the police force had kind of a green light to do whatever they had to ask questions later, just take the Billy, they call him the Billy Club. You know, he ended up being the mayor. He still carried his Billy Club as a mayor, carried a Billy Club, like, hey, I'm the mayor. And he just had a police force that just asked questions later. He told them, look, we're the cops, we'll get acquitted. You do whatever you gotta do, we'll get acquitted. He just came out and told them. And they plucked my brother off the street. Like I said, he was 17. He was beaten so severely. They called my mother, Mrs. Armstrong, we have your son here. And he's like, for what? I mean, he's the nicest dude. I mean, to this day, like, my brother's the sweetest guy like you ever want to meet, nicest guy. She's like, for what?
Yeah.
He was a suspect in an armed robbery. She's like, okay. And Dot Armstrong, my mom, God rest her soul, I lost her too. And I'll tell you a little bit about her and what losing her has done to me. And again, I wouldn't have a book without these amazing things. Yeah. So she went to get my brother, and she didn't recognize him. He was too beat up. She walked right by him. He said, "Mom, I'm right." He said he was on the bench. He said, "Mom, where you going?" And she looked at him and said, "They're not going to get away with this." So for the remainder of my life, now this happened when I was 12. So all through my teens, literally all through my teens, my family was in this vicious fight with the city of Philadelphia. Oh my God! Wow. And this little lady, Dot Armstrong, was at the front of this massive fight. Yeah, she was fearless, and she's the reason this book is called Fearless. By the way, listen, I have my own moments where I went out and slayed some dragons, but it's called Fearless because Dot Armstrong was just one single mom. Wow. I never had a dad in my life. She was just a single mom and saw this injustice with her son and went up against the city. My family got death threats and everything.
Oh, I'm sure.
She was on TV. She was a crusader. She was on this crusade to get justice for her son. Yeah. Didn't get it, man. They got acquitted. They went back to work. After this trial was over, they got up, gave our family the finger, and went back to work. Wow. So when all this stuff happened, in recent memory with, the Trayvon Martins and Ferguson and this and that, here's the thing about that. I don't want to sound cavalier when I say this, but it was just so familiar. It was so familiar to me that my reaction surprised some people because it was all happening. People were up in arms, and I was just. It's how you feel when something familiar happens. Not blasé. No, just like my I spent 7 straight years. In court with my mom and my brother sitting there. And, and it was an injustice. Yeah. He never he never got that. He never got it. They just got up and said that's it, and okay, the case is over. Bam. Oh, my God. And so my mother was still suing the city transportation because of what happened to my other brother. Oh my God! So she went from that to that. Oh my God! And my oldest brother's death in a transit case, they gave my family $60,000 for his life. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Listen. Yeah. Okay. We got some furniture, man.
That's all you're about to get. 60,000.
We got some furniture
and paid some taxes, I'm sure, on it.
Paid some taxes. Yeah, we paid some taxes. My mother was so.
Oh my God.
But because his case resulted in a victory, she was happy.
Oh, okay, well that matters. Okay.
She was happy. Somebody said, "Okay, we're going to give you an award for your son." She was like, "We won," because she had just spent all those years in a losing case, and And it became a shared victory for the whole family and for my brother who was abused by the cops and all that. But here's the thing about this book. Again, I don't just tell horror stories.
Yeah.
Fearless is funny.
Okay, good.
Fearless is a funny book because I came straight from a stage presenter to authorship.
Okay.
And my stage presentations are very uplifting and funny. And so when these realities, these hard realities happen on stage, the audience is always sort of shocked because I'm going along almost like a stand-up comedian. I'm just going along, bang, 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 and suddenly you hear pow, you know. So I had to bring that positivity and that humor to Fearless. Fearless has some chapters so funny.
Okay, good.
I hate to say that. I hate to tell someone they're about to laugh.
Oh, but you're going to laugh.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
James.
I'm going to laugh.
When you call me, the second you finish laughing. I was laughing writing most of this book.
That's good. I like that. That's good.
But I was crying writing some of this book.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I was happy my wife was 2 stories away. We live in a tall townhouse.
Yeah.
I was so happy she was way up on the top floor, thank God, because I'm downstairs crying.
Yeah.
I was writing longhand. I wrote this on like composition pads.
Wow.
I just be crying and writing, and that's life.
It is.
Life's not supposed to be one big nonstop party, without sadness.
Right. And it's okay to cry.
It's okay.
Folks. Okay for men to cry.
Just don't do it in front of people.
That's not my message.
That's not the message?
Not the message, Rob. The message is okay to cry. Dang it.
Period.
Right. It's okay. Men can cry. You can still be strong and be sensitive at the same time. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. That's the message.
All right.
But no, that's really cool because, so you basically went through a good catharsis writing this book then, didn't you?
That's the perfect word. The catharsis was potent. It was funny because my first book is written in many drafts. For those of you who want to write a book, it's that's the painful part of it.
It's an arduous process.
It's arduous, and there's all these drafts. My first draft, I was so happy with it.
Yeah.
Like the first big email that went to my editor at Reader's Digest, I was so excited.
They were like, trim that, drop that, do this.
James, the whole draft got redlined.
Oh, I'm sure.
The entire draft. My book was called something else. The title, the book, everything in the book. I'm like, what happened? I have a great editor, Andrew. Okay. Andrew said, Rob, listen, this is not a stage. You're not on stage somewhere.
Okay.
A book is an emotional process.
Yeah.
Being on stage, you really can't get too emotional up there. You can't start crying and stuff on stage. I was like, that's true. You can't do that. She said, yeah, but here you can.
Ooh. You
have to feel something. I have no idea. I'm reading your first draft right now. I can't tell how you feel about anything. You're so dispassionate telling this story. You need to go back and write.
Wow.
Write the way you know how to write.
Okay.
And I don't know what goes into greatness.
Okay.
I suspect it's a willingness to go back and do it the right way.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I had to
go back in.
Yes.
And do some writing.
I was 7 drafts away.
Okay.
Full drafts.
Okay.
Away from this book at that time. So I went back and felt it. In fact, some of it I forgot and I had to call my siblings. I got a sister in Florida, Judy. So I called Judy and she told me, oh, you forgot about this, you forgot about that. My memory's not great. So I'm on the phone with my college roommate going, do me a favor, go back to 1981 right quick for me. And I found out other people have great memories.
I know, some people do.
They really do.
So I'm halfway okay. Whatever.
Yeah, listen, I have a friend, my friend Sonia Clayton. She was so vivid with her memory. I'm like, I was doing what? She talked about like when I was a freshman at Syracuse. I ended up going to Syracuse. And she talked about like right after my mom passed. My mom got sick when I was a senior in high school.
Okay.
Cancer. And she died when I was only at Syracuse for 2 months.
Oh, wow.
And cancer just ravaged her body. And took her out.
Cancer does not care, does it?
No. And she was 49.
Oh, my God.
She was
around my age.
She was about your age.
That's crazy.
I'm 5 years older than that. Wow. Okay, so she looked young.
Well, of course she did.
Black, you know what I mean?
Of course we do. We look good.
50. I'm 54. Come on.
Okay, we'll never guess.
Thank you.
Never guess.
I'm boasting about that right now.
No, I know. No, trust me. As I said, my birthday's coming up too. Oh, yeah, I understand that one.
I bought a bottle of wine. I got carded recently.
Did you
last
week? Oh, funny.
Yeah. Anyway, so When she passed away, I was in my freshman year, miles and miles away from home. Syracuse, New York is nowhere near Philadelphia.
No.
And I created this comic strip out of grief, literally out of grief, called Hector.
Okay.
And I sat down in my dorm and started to draw samples of Hector. I decided to channel this. Grief is not even the right word. I was devastated.
Yeah, I'm sure.
She was my hero. She was my cheerleader. When I was 10 years old, she sent I used to make up little stories in my room. I'd make up little characters, and you have a brother who's a cartoon.
Yeah.
You know, when you're little, it's like I had a bluebird, Mr. Birdie. He was real creative.
Yes.
I had a little story, Mr. Birdie. It was 7 pages of stapled book. You know what I mean? Mom, I got a book. She was like, that is such a great book.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So she supported you. She supported it.
And she sent that book to Random House, Scholastic.
Scholastic.
That book came back in a little package. Like, I was all excited. We heard back from them. It was like, get out of here. I mean, it was like, that's nothing.
But she supported you. That's the thing.
And she said they will be sorry. They blew it.
Okay.
They blew it. Mm-hmm. And so her passing. So I was like, wow. And I didn't notice. I called my friend Sonia from Syracuse, and she said, yeah, when you were doing that, you were making this Hector comic strip. You just sat for days without eating or sleeping. I would bring you food from the cafeteria. I was like, get out of here. She said, no, I would sit there and I'd watch you draw. And you would sit in your chair and like you were under a spell. There's no way I could have remembered that.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't in my right mind.
Oh, right. Okay.
I was traumatized.
Yeah.
I was catatonic. I was sitting there drawing this thing.
Yeah.
Took the final product to the Daily Orange, the school newspaper. And they started running Hector, man. Hector ran every day for the 4 years I was at Syracuse.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, Hector was the thing that led to Jumpstart.
So that was your first kind of foray into a daily comic.
Yeah, like people loved it. And like, Hector was different. Like Jumpstart's positive and like, it's mainstream.
Yeah.
I'm in 400 newspapers or something like that.
Yes.
Hector was irreverent and just wrong, just off and wrong. Because I was depressed, I think. I was definitely angry then. As a 19-year-old kid, I was definitely angry.
Okay.
And Hector came off angry and kind of nasty. And like kids in college loved Hector.
Oh, funny.
Hector was a hit, man. And I mean, to this day, they give out an award called the Hector Award for the best.
Oh, how fun!
The best Daily Orange comic strip. It's like an Oscar. They give out a little Hector statue.
How funny is that?
And it's amazing. It's amazing.
Wow, you affected change.
I affected some change. So Hector led to Jumpstart. Jumpstart's the. Can I draw?
Okay, folks, he's going to draw a little something. This is really quick. This is really cool too. So yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to draw right fast. I hope they can see this on that camera.
Yeah, he's going to work it out. He's going to work it out for you.
So if you've never seen Jumpstart, it's in. It's probably in a newspaper in your city. It's in a lot of cities, but it's online too at gocomics.com. So
yep, it is.
Check that out.
Yeah, it's been around for a long time, and one of the questions I've always wanted to ask you.
Yes.
I just interviewed Ed Asner the other day.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Guess what?
And
That's
so it's
crazy.
Crunchy. Is that crunchy?
Yes, crunchy.
That's what I thought. I was like, okay, I'm going to ask you.
Can you get Ed back in here?
Probably.
This is him.
It was one of the craziest, most amazing interviews I've ever done in my entire life.
What?
He was so sharp and on it that I had to stay. I'll send the links. You can watch our interview.
James, look at this. This is Ed Asner.
That's what I thought.
Like, it literally
that's what I thought.
Is Ed Asner. Crunchy, Joe's partner.
Yes.
Was modeled, even though Jumpstart was launched in 1989, like the Mary Tyler Moore show and all that was fresh on my mind for some reason.
Oh, funny.
I mean, it was off the air by then.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But I was really into the Mary Tyler Moore show.
That's so funny.
And
that's what I thought. I was like, it's Ed Asner. It is.
It's him.
Oh, how funny is that?
It's him.
It's
so weird.
Wait to connect you guys at some point.
Would you please?
Yes, he was. Lovely guy, but he was one of the most interesting interviews I've ever done. So you have to see. You have to watch it.
Unbelievable.
Just happened like a week and a half ago.
That's
we sat down.
Incredible.
And so it's ironic that I don't believe in coincidence. I believe everything happens like it's all
right
supposed to happen. So funny, you come on a week and a half later. I'm like, I get to actually ask him this. I wanted to ask him this whole time.
What else you want to know?
I also want to know. Okay.
Fire away.
Okay. So unlike Boondocks and other black comics like that are more of the hood and kind of ghetto and kind of they call themselves super black, whatever.
Right.
Your comic is very upbeat and positive. And I compare it to the Cosby Show.
Right.
Which got a lot of flack too, of course, because they showed two parents that wasn't good times. So what are some of your reactions to some of that criticism?
The Boondocks is excellent.
Yeah, it's great.
The Boondocks phenomenon and the Jumpstart phenomenon, to me, in my mind, it just shows that we are very diverse
I like that.
people. That we can express ourselves in a large variety of ways. I don't know Aaron all that well, but I've spoken to him. I've met him. I'm nothing like him. Like if you met the two of us, we only have a career drawing comic strips in common.
Right.
I think that it's not fair. I don't hate to use the word fair. You can read the strip and take whatever you want from it.
Yeah, right.
But Jumpstart doesn't even aspire to be an unrealistic, overly upbeat, positive portrayal of a black family. The main characters in Jumpstart, Joe the cop, Marcy the nurse, the four kids, they're far from perfect. It's hard to derive comedy or comedic moments out of perfection. You have to have flaws and foibles.
I agree.
Just to write comedy, to write something funny.
Yeah.
People have to understand that the person on the page is a lot like them, and frankly, the only thing we all have in common is struggle. Everybody suffers. That's the one thing we have in the rich, the poor, the Trumps, the immigrants. Everybody suffers. And if you can tap into that common thread of suffering and show how people handle trials and tribulations, sometimes you can do it in a very humorous way. I've been really fortunate to have strong characters in Jumpstart, and those characters drive the action. This is not my podium. I'm not trying to preach using the strip, believe it or not.
Right.
The characters, I allow the characters to speak to me. This is going to sound really like a psychiatrist's couch for a second.
I love it.
But I allow the characters to conduct that, to direct the action. I'm blessed with the ability to draw them and to write and to my brain. I allow my brain to go into that world so that when I write for Crunchy, it doesn't sound anything like the writing I do for Joe. When I write for Marcy, it appears a woman is writing Jumpstart. When I write for the twins, I was writing for them when they were in the womb, talking to each other as fetuses.
Right.
If there is like anything to be read into that, that's super pro-life.
That is super pro-life. That is.
There are fetuses in there.
Yes.
Now, why am I even doing that? Is it because I'm a Christian? It's actually because I'm grateful I wasn't aborted. That's why I'm doing it. That's why the twins had character and personality
in the womb
and the relationship inside the womb. Because I'm just happy. I was the fifth child born to a single mother.
Yeah.
I'm just happy,
You made it through.
Yeah, she never threatened to. I never heard that from my mother, by the way. She never, I thought about her. She never did that. But it could have gone either way. If you're the fifth kid to a woman who's out here in the street on her own, raising kids, bad kids. Like, you know what I mean? My brothers, please. I'm the nicest one in my family. Trust me.
I love it.
I'm the nicest one. My sister Judy, thank God I was related to her. She just fought my battles outright. I just come in the house like, Judy, we got another one. She was more than happy to beat someone up.
Oh, I love it. So I want to bring something up that you did do that was kind of race related.
Okay.
This is a while. I don't know if you said your memory. I mean, I don't know. So Crunchy had asked Joe why so many black guys were wearing the medallions. Remember back in the day, I wore mine too, my African die. I was wearing my stuff too back then. And Joe talks about how it symbolizes pride and heritage.
Right.
So you have a scene at the end where he goes and Crunchy wears a medallion as part of Czechoslovakia. It looks like Czechoslovakia. I love that. I think it was such a smart, that was actually very smart, a way of kind of talking about pride. And at that time, it was a lot of Afro pride in the early 90s. We were all kind of, it was like, the native tongues movement was all, De La Soul. Everybody's going back to the medallion, all the mustard colors just like you were today, and all that kind of stuff. And I had my hats and stuff too, and I had my high top fades and all that crap. But I thought it was a really cool thing you did, kind of like to show, because you did touch about race, but in a way it wasn't so like heavy handed.
Yeah, you know what? I got a really incredibly nice email. I don't get a whole lot of fan mail by way of email. I get old-fashioned letters a lot.
Okay.
I get a lot of reaction on Go Comics, the site that Jumpstart runs on. I don't get a lot of email. I got James. I think my favorite email came yesterday.
Wow.
A guy sent me a note. The email didn't even have body text.
Oh.
The subject line said, "You are writing and drawing one of the best strips running. It's in league with Pogo, Gasoline Alley, and Calvin and Hobbes."
Wow.
And it had no body text.
Oh.
That was the title of his email.
So you dropped the mic already.
Drop the mic. Here's why, and I've gotten such great, I hate to say this, people have written me loving, I mean, you talk about a medallion. Joe was wearing a medallion in one series and they got hit with a bullet. A guy unloaded, a suspect unloaded, and a bullet hit him in the medallion, saved his life. And I thought that's the one you were going to reference.
Yeah, that was another one.
And people were like, "Thank God Joe lives." Or people believe these characters are real people, and they feel fear when it's necessary, love and all that. So I hate to say one email, and it was this guy who had nothing in the body.
Yeah.
But the reason that is meaningful goes to what you're saying. Someone has just recognized that Jumpstart is simply excellent. James, when I sit down, it is sometimes under personal protest. This runs every day.
I know, I was going to ask you, how do you do that?
Dude, let's face it.
Oh, my God, yes.
My wife is like, "What are we going to do today?" I'm like, "I don't know what you're going to do. You will find me downstairs in the basement all day." And she texts me when it's time to eat. It's sad. Please come up and eat. So it's not easy.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's very difficult to come up with material.
Yeah.
And I literally, in those moments, my prayer is not to get me through, not to survive, not to whatever. I say, I feel the least creative I've ever felt in my life. Yeah. I'm more exhausted than I can remember. Today's the day to be excellent.
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping me today. Nothing. I could literally go down here and do the best work of my entire career. I am without barrier. Nothing is in my way. Nobody and nothing is in my way. Some of my best moments as a writer and as an artist have come in these trying times of weariness and like, what day is it? Oh no, my deadline is right now.
Right.
So this guy telling me that I'm gonna mention Calvin and Hobbes and you in the same breath and be out, like, that's what it comes down to. When you do your job, I don't think it's necessary or important, and I hate to say this because you do your job and you have whatever system in place, whatever your methodology is. I don't know how effective or important or good it is to say, as a black man doing this, I'm gonna be the best black. But listen, you have the opportunity to be the best ever.
Period.
Behind the mic. Period.
Yeah.
Like literally, why not? My issue with the Oscars this year was wow, like you actually don't consider some work based on race, meaning you might not be recognizing the best picture of the year for all you know. You've disqualified some movies. You've told some actors you're not interested. How do you know that's the best picture? How do you know that's the best actor? You may have just made a gigantic blunder. Because we have so far to go just to get to the starting line.
That's true.
Like we come with incredible potential.
Yeah, we do.
Like incredible power. When I broke into the business, it was 1989. There were only 4 other black people in the industry at that time. And one of them had discovered me, this man named Maury Turner.
Okay.
Maury Turner did a strip. He's passed away. His strip was called We Pals.
And that sounds familiar, kind of.
Yeah, We Pals is incredible.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't in the paper with other black strips for the majority of its life.
Oh, okay.
We Pals got syndicated in 1968.
Wow.
The next black strip to go mainstream big time happened the year I got in.
Yeah.
I wasn't alone. I came with Stephen Bentley, who does Herb and Jamal.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
And Ray Billingsley, who does Curtis. So these 3 black cartoonists, and Barbara Brandon, a female.
Yeah.
We all came in 1989.
Yeah.
So from 1968 to 1989, Maury Turner wasn't in the paper with other black strips. Therefore, he wasn't compared to other black strips.
Makes sense.
He just had to be great, and he was. And he was a role model to me.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how I felt when in 1988, I got a chance, it's 1987 actually, I got a chance to meet him. In 1988, our friendship developed, and he led me to all those different people that ended up getting me syndicated.
Yeah.
And he did it without hesitation. When I was a nobody, I was on the phone. There was an editor in Philadelphia named Rich Argood, and I was in Philly. I was living there and stuff, and I was trying to get syndicated any way I could. I was literally walking into newspaper buildings. Yeah. And bringing my stuff.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
And they would sit there and look at me like, "What are you doing here? Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Who let you in?"
Right.
But this guy was different. He was like, "You know what? For a young guy, you seem to have a lot of courage. I know they look for that.
Yeah.
You had no hesitation. You just walked up here. You're in here trying to get a job." He said, "What you want is to be syndicated. You don't want to work for me.
Yeah.
Have one newspaper. It's a lot of work. It's every day."
Yeah.
I said, "I do want to get syndicated, but it's been hard. It's been years. I've been trying since I was in college." He said, "Look, call this man." Rich Argood slid Maury Turner's phone number across the table to me.
Okay.
Back in 1987.
Wow.
I'm looking at this thing. Now, I've grown up with this man as one of my idols.
Yes.
And he, like I said, he was just incredible. Like, I had practiced drawing his characters from We Pals and all that. I said, "Oh my gosh." He said, "Yeah, call him." I said, "You sure about this? Can you tell him that I'm going to call and everything?" He said, "No, I'm not going to tell him you're going to call. I'm telling you, he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Call him." Next morning, man, ring. "Hey, Mr. Turner, listen, my name is Robb Armstrong. I'm calling from Philadelphia." He said, "You know what time it is?" I said, "Yeah, it's 9 o'clock. I just got to work. I just wanted to let you know." He said, "I live in Sacramento, California."
Sacramento, I love it.
It's 6 o'clock in the morning here. I had never traveled anywhere.
Yeah.
I didn't know at that time that there was a difference in time.
Yeah.
I said, "I'm sorry, man. You want me to call you back?" He said, "I'll tell you what. Let me wake up. Give me your number."
Yeah.
This is before cell phone. He said, "Give me your number.
Yeah.
I promise I'll call you back. Let me get myself together, man. You woke me up out of bed."
Yes.
I hung up, man. I was sweating.
Yeah,
I blew it. Oh my goodness, that guy gave me his number, and now he's mad at me, and I woke him up and blah blah blah. A half hour later, he must have showered and called me. He was just like, "Hey, man, what's going on?
Okay.
What do you want?"
Okay.
And Maury Turner and I became friends over the phone. He invited me to meet him in person in Ohio.
Yeah.
I drove to Ohio. I caught a train actually to Ohio to meet him, and he opened up some avenues. He didn't get me syndicated.
Yeah.
He said, "I want you to meet a young dude who's right on the cusp, And that's how it happened.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, my stuff is at what was then United Feature Syndicate.
Okay.
In front of Charles Schultz's editor.
Wow.
Who does Peanuts.
Yeah.
Charles Schultz's editor, George People.
Yeah.
Knew Maury and stuff. And George People said, "I wonder why this kid isn't syndicated."
Yeah.
And George People went to Sarah Gillespie, editor at United Feature Syndicate.
Yeah.
She called me and said, "Can you get to New York?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Sure, come to New York." She sat me down and said, Let's do a contract." It took a long time after that, but that's how it happened.
I'm so sad our time is up because I want to talk to you more, so you have to come back.
Okay.
You just have to come back.
Our
It's
time
just
really
that
is
simple.
up? That was 50 minutes?
Yeah.
That's crazy,
It
man.
is crazy. It goes by fast.
Unbelievable.
Especially folk talkers like us who have good stories. You have great stories.
I'm glad you think so. I would love to come back.
Yeah, you seriously have to come back and do like a part 2 and just continue this conversation because it's
Let's do
so,
it.
it's so, I mean, it's so, oh my God, it's so fascinating because I want to know more about how you really got in and how we're gonna work it out.
I look forward to it, man.
Quickly, 2 things. I ask every guest the same 2 questions. I don't prep them beforehand. So 1 word or phrase. What word do you think we should take out of our vocabulary in English? Like we should not say anymore.
I don't want to say it on the air.
Okay, well, I guess that's an answer. But,
Okay, you know what? Truthfully, it's not what you think.
okay.
Can't.
I like that one. What word do you think we should say more of or bring back into our vocabulary?
I love you.
Oh, I like that. That's a good one. We should say that more. We should say love more, period. Shouldn't we?
Yeah.
We should. Fearless is the book. Make sure you get it. It comes out April 26th.
April 26th, man.
So make sure you get it. You go to Amazon. Probably go to what are your websites and stuff? You tell people in there what your websites are and everything.
Okay. Go to you can go to robbarmstrong.com is my official website. It's under construction right now because my publisher is helping me with some links. But it's still, you can go there and just see pictures like headshots of me if you want to.
Why not?
If you want to do that.
Why not?
But go to Go Comics to actually read Jumpstart.
Yes, please go. Just read it. It's really good. Pass it on to your kids, everybody.
And go to Amazon. Go to Amazon.com to buy the book, or BarnesandNoble.com.
Yeah, Barnes and Noble. Fearless. And I'm James Lott Jr. Thanks for watching another edition of Breaking Into. Go to our Facebook page, Breaking Into, and follow me at James Lott Jr. And I'll see you next time.
From executives Kevin Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio, Instagram at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in. The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.